In this lab, we will look at the ABO blood typing system along with the RH antigen. In this first section of the lab, we look at what type of reaction we get with 4 different blood types. I'm going to start with A positive. I have a clean well plate here, and I'm going to add a couple of drops of my simulated A positive blood in 3 different wells. Then I have my anti-A that I'll add in the first well, and you see we get a reaction, so that indicates that the blood type is positive for A antigens. Okay, now I add a few drops of B, and it gets a little thinner, but there's not a reaction. There's not a color change. There's not a clumping or any type of precipitate or a solid that forms. So I would say that that's not a change. Now I'm going to add RH, my anti-RH, and I know it's a little hard to see with the video, but I do have a reaction that has occurred. I have a little bit of clumping, a little bit of settling out that's occurring in the well plate. So with my A positive blood, I had a positive reaction with the anti-A, a negative reaction with the anti-B, and a positive reaction with the anti-RH. So what that tells me is that I do in fact have A positive blood. Okay, so if we have A blood, then we should expect to see a reaction with the anti-A antigen. If we have B blood, then we would expect to see a reaction with the anti-B. And then with RH, if we get a reaction, then we know that that blood type is RH positive. So that's what we're looking for in each of these next tests. So now I have B negative, and I'll add B negative in the same way that I did my first sample of A positive. Now the anti-A. I don't get a reaction, which I expect. I know that I have B blood, so I shouldn't get a reaction when I add the anti-A. You notice I get a reaction with the anti-B. That's expected. Now, since I have B negative blood, I should not get a reaction with the RH, and I don't. So because I only got a reaction in the second well with the anti-B, this tells me in fact that this is B negative blood. So now I have AB positive, and I would expect that I would get a reaction with all 3 because it's going to have all 3 antibodies. Sorry, I misspoke. I meant to say that it has all 3 antigens. I said antibodies, but it has all 3 antigens. So I'll add a few drops of my AB positive blood. Okay. Now I'll add the anti-A. And I get a color change indicating a positive reaction there. The anti-B, and it goes a little clear there, so that indicates a positive reaction. And now my anti-RH, this one also going a little clear. I also see a little bit more of a reaction happening with the anti-B. I know that may be a little hard to see, but I've got some little crystallization occurring there. So that indicates that I'm positive for the A antigen, the B antigen, and the RH antigen. So now I'm going to check my last blood sample, which is O negative. And O negative has no antigens on its surface, so I should not expect to see any positive responses here or reactions here. So anti-A, nothing. Anti-B, nothing. And now lastly, my anti-RH, no reaction. And that's what I would expect with O negative blood.